So I present myself. I'm Anthony. I work in virtual and augmented reality. In virtual reality since 4 years, so not that much, but when this revolution of Oculus has come, I started working with VR. I'm a developer, and I have also a blog about AR and VR to talk about about these technologies, to try to help people to make VR widespread. So that's why I'm wanted to talk with you, work with this technology, with CGI, with VR, AR since a lot of time. So I want to ask you some questions about these technologies.
Okay.
So
I can try.
Yeah, I can jump in some smart questions as well. You've seen a lot of so-called possible VR revolutions. So VR, lots of time was on the edge to become mainstream, but then it always failed. This time there is a new wave of VR products, and now we are in the moment that people start saying, oh, this time is failing again. So there are some people that think like that. So do you think that this is the right time for VR to become widespread, and why? Why yes or why no?
Well, the idea of virtual reality or augmented reality has been around for years. Nothing's new in the idea of doing that. But in the last 5 years, technology has become available to make it economic enough for large groups of people to individually move into an immersive environment. The question is it going to fail economically, which is one, and the second question is the technology there to be able to do it? And I want to answer your question not directly for a minute, but in the 1960s, shows my age, I wanted to use computer graphics for computer-aided design. How to build cars, how to build buildings, both the design and engineering. And nobody would do it. It's too expensive. Computation costs were too high. Why waste machine resources making pictures? I was rejected by Walt Disney in 1973, who said we will never use computers in the animation studio. Worked with Hanna-Barbera at that time. And in a sense, the technology was so far behind what they could do by hand that it's understandable that reaction was there. Right now, what people don't see is that virtual reality is still a baby. We don't have enough bandwidth, we don't have enough processing power. We're isolating people to goggles so I can't see the expression of your eyes. We're not sharing the same environment together. So there's a long way to go. But it's just in its beginning. And now, today, if I come to a conference like the View Conference, I see this exquisite imagery for storytelling. perfect. Okay? But it's a linear sequence of the story. It's directed by a director in a linear path, so you don't have a choice of what you're looking at. You're looking at what they give you. And they do it wonderfully. And when we move into virtual reality and augmented reality, it's a totally new technology. We need millions of more times of computing power. We need much higher resolution. It's closer to our eye. I think augmented reality is even more important. You and I should be in the same real environment. And so I think it's being misjudged. But I think it's going to be here forever, because ultimately the cell phone is going to be thrown away, and we're going to be using augmented reality means of communication. So this is not for making movies that I'm talking about. I'm talking about communication. And that's why I think it's going to stay. The immersive experience is so powerful. When we put this on, even if it's crude fashion, it's still so powerful. You can't step over that cliff.
Yeah. Play some games, I was scared.
No, I know, I understand. But it's just really beginning.
So you think that people have this opinion because they think that this is the final stage. Instead, we still have a long way to go.
We have 20 years to go.
Wow.
15 years to go.
Wow.
Yeah.
And in 15 years, you think that we have a VR experience that is indistinguishable from reality?
Close.
And in how much time we will get to the complete? That's why we are just talking.
Well, you know, the first very well received 3-minute movie was Luxo and Luxo Jr. by Pixar in 1986. The first full-length computer animation was Toy Story in 1995. So that's 9 years from that 3-minute short to the first movie. And now it's 1995, and where are we now? We're 23 years later, and it's standard. Yeah. They're all doing the same thing. They're all using the same software. The stories are different. The artistry is fantastic. They know how to use the tools. But that's 2-3 decades. You want to switch ages? I mean, I want to be your age.
Yeah,
and spend the next 30 years working in this. But because there are a lot of unsolved problems.
Yeah, if this can help the VR world, we can exchange ages. For me, it's okay.
Well,
And talking about the past, why have you started working in CGI and VR? What fascinated you when you was at university?
It's easy to describe. I mean, I'm separating this from computer graphics. Okay, so that I got started in computer graphics because I was trying to create computer software for the design of cars, buildings. I didn't like looking at the numbers coming out of the computer. So in order to understand the simulations, I started to write some graphic software. It had nothing to do with entertainment. And all of a sudden, nobody else was doing this, or very few people. So I had a lot of very bright, creative, energetic, courageous students who kind of came to this oasis in the desert. And they started to do stuff, had some funding from the National Science Foundation, and started to work on all the technical aspects of computer graphics. And by the 1970s, I was doing cell animation. You familiar with cell animation? The big celluloid thing, drawings and putting it together. So I was working with Hanna-Barbera in the 1970s. Remember, Pixar didn't start until 1986.
Yeah.
And I set up a measurement lab to measure the behavior of light, and to measure material properties, and tried to do photorealistic rendering. And a lot of the algorithms that are used today were done by my students at Cornell. And then I went to a SIGGRAPH conference. I don't remember which one it was, but it's about 5 years ago. And I think it was in Vancouver, but I was put down on a table with a group of people from Basel, Switzerland. And they had a VR system where they could put flaps on my hand and my goggles, a fan on my non-existent hair, so it felt like the wind was blowing my hair, and I was flying over the city of Vancouver.
Wow.
And it was so immersive that I said, I can't stop now. I have to move into virtual reality. And then I started to teach virtual reality in my courses about 5 years ago. So I take 120, 150 students. I have them make their own models, animate some of the characters, walk through these non-existent spaces, use high-quality rendering to do this. And the students are teaching me now. They're better mathematically than I am.
So now what you're working on, we are a part of teaching, what you're experimenting VR and VR, you and your team.
Well, I've done a bunch of things, which I think I'm still experimenting.
Yeah, we all doing
so
this.
That's right. So the first set of experiments that I was trying to do was to see how accurate it could be. So there's a chair over there.
Yeah.
Let's assume I model this room, and I model that chair, and so we're down to a centimeter accuracy, or actually it's a quarter of a centimeter accuracy. So I have this whole virtual environment. Now I'm going to put the goggles on you. Okay? So you're in this virtual environment. You willing to go over there and sit on that chair? You got the goggles completely covered. Okay?
I have to trust you.
Yeah, I mean, are you willing to just sit down? Now, there's no arms there. There's nothing you're going to use to support. Are you willing to do it? Well we can do it.
Really?
And we do it. And I've done it.
Wow.
Okay, I just walk right over there and I sit there.
I want to try.
Okay, so I wanted to see how accurate we could do. Well, then I started to get into the fact that, I don't have the computational power to do it fast enough. So it's accurate, the geometry is accurate enough, but I really need to make it more realistic. But I don't have the computational power. So I said, how are we going to get that? And so then I got into eye tracking. So I'm trying to look at where you're looking, have the head goggles measure where I'm looking. And then I only have to put high resolution where you're looking, and I can have lower resolution on the outside. So that's kind of foveated rendering. Okay. So I'm working on the algorithms for foveated rendering. And that's working. That works beautifully, actually. But now I have a lot more computer power. Partly because NVIDIA is sending me Christmas presents.
graphics card.
So it's really nice. So I have, I ran the computations. I have 400 billion times more power than when I wrote my first graphics software. Okay.
It's impressive.
It's not enough. And I can't display it fast enough because the resolution is not high enough. So I'm now working on trying to go a step further, because if you put on the goggles, you can walk around or look around this environment any way you want. And I can't render all the possible paths fast enough. So I'm trying to understand in the opposite direction what everybody else is doing. They're trying to figure out how to make the pictures so they can tell the story. And it's very hard in virtual reality because they can't control it. I'm trying to say, how can I use all the possible cues or influences to have you walk a path in this virtual space that you think is it's your own path, you picked it. But what I've really done is influence the path which you're taking. So I don't have to provide all of the paths. So I want to go backwards. I want to find the ways of telling the story or putting in some sort of emotion, like the magician lighting the match while I'm pulling the rabbit out of my hat, to influence the path that you're going to take. And then only display the high resolution in the areas which you're looking. So you can make believe that you're listening to me, you're looking at me, at my eyes and my mouth. But you know that good-looking Italian girl that just walked by the door, you saw that girl walk by, right? Yeah. Okay. And I've tracked your eye. I know that, right? So I'm trying to start to figure out what are the cues that I can use to reduce the computational complexity so that I then can do this. And since I'm not in the entertainment business, I'm trying to see how I can use this also for design, for communication, to how we can be at different locations and share the same environment. And I need to be working for another 20 years.
I'm sure you do that.
So I love it.
Yeah, fantastic.
And that's really what I'm.
And you talk about that now we have a lot of computational power.
Right.
But now VR companies are betting on their mobile form factor that is a step back in computational power. So only one devices without a PC. So it's anyway a lot of computational power because the modern smartphones have a good computational power, but it's anyway a step back from the PC. How people can, in your opinion, create a compelling experience even on these less powerful devices?
The cell phone, Apple, you pick whichever one you want, but is more powerful than the Cray computer was the massive time-sharing machine in the 80s and 90s. So I'm a firm believer that we're still going to have an exponential increase in computer power. It's not going to be sufficient, but it's still going to be 1,000 times faster than we have now. 1,000 times faster. I know. You're going to question me, and I've been questioned. I've got scars all over my body of why it's not going to happen. It's going to happen. The issue that we're going to have is that we can't get the immersive experience by looking at a cell phone or a laptop or a tablet. So I don't know what the form factor is going to be or what it looks like. But if we can make just regular glasses where I can still see your eyes and you can still see the environment, the augmented reality, then we can merge the simulated, the virtual with the real. If you can't tell that apart, you're still immersed. That's what's going to happen. I don't know what that shape is going to be, but right now I'm anticipating it to be like regular glasses. I have to be able to see your eyes. I have to be able to see your mouth, and vice versa. We're not there yet. What I worry about is that a lot of money is going into this field from companies who have a market size that's measured in billions of people. And that might not be affordable for billions. The market may only be tens of billions. So I don't know how the economy is going to impact that. I'm trying to understand how the brain works. What is necessary to create an image that has sufficient information in the image that it is acceptable to you as being totally real. You can't possibly see everything that your brain has interpreted. You're getting information through your visual system, but you can't see it. And your brain is some of that. I don't know. That's beyond my scope.
What do we need to have to trick completely the brain? So what's the secret?
Are you going to go to my talk today?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about this later a little bit, But we have to start to be able to measure some of that stuff. And for us to measure the reflection of light off of this material, that's easy today. For us to measure the temperature of your body with something on your thumb, that's very easy for us. For us to measure which neurons in your brain are fired, that's tough. We don't know how to do that yet. So there is a whole field evolving. Measurement at the minute scale. And what's really great about it in neuroscience, and I'm going to show a single slide now, I've never done this, but they're now making a neuroprobe. A neuroprobe is a device to measure the electrical voltage responses of a neuron, a single neuron. Except the size of that is now, measuring a neuron is useless because the brain has millions of them. So right now the size of that is a micron thick. Okay, now I can't show you this now, but I used to be able to pull out a hair. I can't show you this because they're gone, right? Let me borrow them. But a hair is about 80 to 100 microns in diameter. So I'm talking about a probe, which is 1 micron thick. And on it, they are now up to 768 neurons that they can measure simultaneously. So now suppose next year they can do double that, so they can do 1,536. Okay. So when we start to be able to provide a stimulus and measure how the neurons respond, and you know, this stuff is based on, last year at the View Conference, I showed the work of Ramoni and Kahal, and I just forgot the name, Golgi. Familiar with those two names?
No.
Okay, so, but you're Italian, right?
Yeah.
So go back and look at the Nobel Prizes from 1908. Okay? And even before that, go back and look at Marconi. Okay, that you know. Okay? But Ramoni Kahal, Golgi was right from here. And he developed the stain to stain the neurons, to which you could then see the structure of the brain and the visual system, or the eye, and the connectivity between the cones in the eye, or the rods, and how they are connected, and start to do that. And so we have capability today to do this. Now we're not going to do it on a human, but they're doing it on mice, rats. Okay. The Nobel Prize this year was given to someone because they call it electronic tweezers. You can move a molecule. The woman who developed a display that was called Pixel Key, it's kind of a black and white color computer that used sunlight for reflectivity, just like you might have with Kindle during the day, but at night it could be put into a plug and run it to save energy. She's now working on using deep infrared to measure the responses of the brain.
Mary Lou Jepsen.
Pardon?
Mary Lou Jepsen.
No, Mary Lou Jepsen?
Yeah,
right.
I've seen the TED Talk.
Yeah, okay, she's wonderful. I love that. That's exactly what she's doing. It saved her. I mean, I know her quite well. That's not quite true. I called her and I asked if she would spend some time with me. And I'm sorry, this shouldn't be in the interview. I was totally flattered. She said, Don, I've been following your work for 40 years. When can we meet? So I'm going to go spend some time with her next. Okay? So all of these things are happening. Okay? But these were the things that are only happening now, today, with respect to the human visual system. The analogy of the physically based rendering is the stuff that Newton was doing in the 1500s, or Faraday was doing with the dynamo. And so, we built, that whole thing was built on 300 years of experimentation by physicists and engineers. So we're just beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. So, of course I want to work in virtual reality. I don't sound like an old man, do I? But yeah.
I'm very intrigued by brain-computer interfaces, so I try to learn some posts, some articles about them.
Yeah.
I don't always understand everything in the field, it's very complicated, but I'm asking myself how much time do we need to get to something like the magic, so we can not only read the brain, but also put information in the brain. To people, I say something like 50 years, maybe. It's a reasonable estimate.
Well, that's a different question. I'm not even interested. I hope that doesn't happen. I'm really, but it won't happen. Okay, that's the problem. Well, you may not want to publish this, so I want to be very careful what I say. But right now, we have a problem in the media today with alternative facts. The other Donald in the United States, not me, the other Donald has won 10,000 Pinocchios already because he's said things which weren't true.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to go down that path, but this is a field which has created a technology which can be misused. And I worry about that a lot. I really worry about that.
Myself, I'm both fascinated and very worried.
Yeah, well, it's nice to hear you say that. And most people at this conference would say that. But not everybody in the world would say that. So that's a big concern. So I think that along with developing the technologies, we have to figure out how to educate. We have to figure out how to educate the next generation, your children.
Yeah.
How to discern between the real and the
It's true. The last question, you have a lot of expertise in this field of VR. What do you think to advise to people that are coming now, like me that are starting for years, or people that will buy Focus or an Oculus Quest in the next time and want to enter this field? What's your advice for them?
What kind of advice for them? Is that
what would you feel to tell to the new VR generation?
What's your degree? What did you get educated in?
Polytechnic. I'm a computer science engineer.
Okay. So how many art courses did you take?
How many?
Yeah, art courses. How many courses in ethics, philosophy, and history did you take?
At university? No.
I know, you don't have time.
Yeah.
So we have to change our educational system. Because no longer do the fields interact with each other. So in our short conversation, we talked about a number of different disciplines, whether it's art, psychology, physics. And I think we have to figure out how we can do that so we have time to understand not just the cross-discipline, but the lessons that we'll learn in another discipline that you will not have known about. You are probably the only person here that if I talk about Mary Lou Jepsen tomorrow, you're the only one who will know that name. So that's great. Okay? So we have to do that. And the difficulty we have in the United States, I can't tell you about Italy, is that the cost of education is so expensive that well, people can't afford it, so there's a gap between the rich and the poor. And more importantly, they try to get out very fast. I have to finish in 4 years because I have to earn some money because I have all this debt that I have. And that's terrible. That's causing a problem. So I would almost advocate requiring that students take at least several courses in other fields outside of their own major to do that. And those are the ones, maybe like myself, who never matured. I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up, but I'm happy to look at it in different ways. So whether that helps other people, I don't know, but I've led a very fortunate life to have been inspired by art, architecture, although my math skills were much better than my design skills. And I'm still getting hundreds of students. So,
It's fantastic.
I don't know. Yeah, I know. I feel really lucky. Yeah. If you studied computer, did you study computer graphics? Or?
Yeah, I did. I had two exams on computer graphics. One on computer vision, two on computer graphics.
Okay, so you know the Cook-Torrance model, reflection, facet, or you know ray tracing. So
Yeah,
you know radiosity.
Yeah.
You know light fields.
Yeah.
Okay, they were all my students. So and they just teach me now. I'm so proud of them, like a papa.
The time is over, so thank you really a lot.